Supreme character of Jagabharata. Sanskrit here is very big and complicated. I just did myself. Brisham Amarsa Rishadeva Prabhasa Vilashita Bru Kuchivitapa Kudita Kutivan Damstra Runek Shanato Pati Bhayanaka Vadana Hantu Kame Vadam Mahata Hasam Ati Samprabhena Vimudkanti Tata Utpatya Papyasam Dushtanam Vinaivasinam Vivrikna Shirsnam Galat Shravana Masriksh Ashavam Atyasnam Saha Ganena Nipyati Panamada Vihvalocha Ishtaram Svapash Varshadai Sada Jugau Nanartacha Vijaharatsa Shira Kanduka Lilaya. Word by word translation. Brisham, very high. Amarsha, in intolerance of the offenses. Rosa, in anger. Avesha, of your absorption. Rabhasa Vilasita, expanded by the force. Bru Kuti, of your eyebrows. Vitapam, the branches. Kutila, curved. Damstram, teeth. Aruna Ikshanam, of reddish eyes. Atopam, by the agitation. Ati, very much. Vayanakam, fearful. Vadanam, having a face. Hantu Kama, desirous to destroy. Ivam, as if. Idam, this universe. Mahaattahasam, a greatly fearful love. Ati, wait. Samrambhena, because of anger. Vimunchanti, releasing. Tata, from that altar. Utpatya, coming forth. Papiyasam, all the sinful. Dushtanam, great offenders. Tena eva ashina, by that same chopper. Vivriknam, separated. Sirshnam, whose heads. Galat, from the neck. Shravantam, oozing out. Ashrik Ashavam, the blood compared to an intoxicating beverage. Ati Ushnam, very hot. Saha, with. Ganena, her associates. Nipiya, drinking. Atipana, from drinking so much. Mada, by intoxication. Vihvala, overwhelmed. Uchaytaram, very loudly. Svaparshadai, in her associates.
Her own associates.
Sorry. own associates.
Her own associates.
Saha,
Saha,
Vis,
this,
Jagao,
Jago,
Sang,
Sam,
Nanarta,
Nanarta,
danced,
danced,
Cha,
Cha,
also,
also,
Vijahara,
Vijahara,
played,
played,
Cha,
Cha,
also,
also,
Shira Kanduka,
Shira Kanduka,
using the heads as bows,
using the head as bows,
Lilaya,
Lilaya,
by sports.
by sports.
You already understood what it's about. Very smart, Irina. Maybe you can ask her to come to translate for English. And also you can ask her if she can, then Alvina can come also. Thank you. Translation. By His Evangelii să receive Occidental National Propaganda. Intolerant of the offenses committed, the infuriated goddess Kali flashed her eyes and displayed her fierce, curved teeth. Her reddish eyes glowed, and she displayed her fearsome features. She assumed a frightening body, as if she were prepared to destroy the entire creation. Leaping violently from the altar, she immediately decapitated all the rogues and thieves with the very sword with which they had intended to kill Jadabarta. She then began to drink the hot blood that flowed from the necks of the beheaded rogues and thieves, as if this blood were liquor. Indeed, she drank this intoxicant with her associates, who were witches and female demons. Becoming intoxicated with this blood, they all began to sing very loudly and dance, as though prepared to annihilate the entire universe. At the same time, they began to play with the heads of the rogues and thieves, tossing them about as if they were balls. Very nice verse. We can make some spectacle with this. Settle. Yes. It would be nice. Make some nice clip on video. With the billions of views. Make it good quality. Purport. It is evident from this verse that the devotees of Goddess Kali are not at all favored by her. It is Goddess Kali work to kill and punish the demons. Goddess Kali Durga engages in decapitating many demons, dacoits and other unwanted elements in society. Neglecting Krishna consciousness, foolish people try to satisfy the goddess by offering her many abominable things. But ultimately, when there is a little discrepancy in this worship, the goddess punishes the worshipper by taking his life. Demonic people worship Goddess Kali to obtain some material benefit, but they are not excused of the sins performed in the name of worship. To sacrifice a man or animal before the deity is specifically forbidden. And purport. Omaginaatmiram dasyam kinanjana shalakayam chikshuram miritam dina tasmai shri gurave namah Shri Chaitanya mano vishtam spapitam yana bhutare swarupa kadamahyam dadati svapadantikam vanchikalpa tarubhisham kripa sindhu visham Patitanam pavanebhyam Vaishnavibhyo namo namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nashta Pureshi Vishnu Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashtuke Bhakti Bhagavati Nashtiki By regular attendance of classes in the Bhagavatam and rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome in the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of the Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. She okay?
I don't know where she is.
In the basement, you checked there?
Hmm?
You checked in the basement? Maybe she do some flowers.
Yeah, then let her do it.
She's doing flowers.
Okay.
Yes, she has some other lecture.
I heard that she's speaking someone.
And you didn't come to her?
No, it's up or somewhere, I don't know.
Okay. Why are you moving there?
Huh?
Why are you moving there?
Because my tablet doesn't have any
Okay. I see.
battery.
There is actually a charger beneath the Prabhupada or something.
Okay. Anyways.
So, yeah, I also thought that we had this instruction to live in the association with devotees. So Prabhupada quotes Narottama Das Thakur about this Bhakta Sanivasa. That's how is it important to live with devotees and associate with devotees. And there is some actually quotes when it is said that if we don't associate with devotees or live with devotees, then our material progress is just imagination. You heard this?
Yes.
Yeah. But actually, I just want to say that it is important for us to come together, especially for Srimad Bhagavatam or for Bhagavad Gita classes. Because Prabhupada made all this, because it's not only about living together, and about associating to discuss all these topics about devotion, exchange the thoughts, and understand from different angles, and continue to practice. Then it becomes association, because sometimes like Acharya come and give to us principles, but after some time, in any religion it becomes that these principles become just some ritual, custom. Just after some time in Christianity, they sometimes just offer some specific time of the year. They offer some apples or just do some different things, in different tradition, different rituals. People don't know what is this. And it will be nice that our Srimad Bhagavatam classes and Bhagavad Gita classes will not become like this. Because in some temples I know that even there is no devotees and they just or don't do this or it's just like a formality. One person gives and nobody comes. But there is different devotees in the city. I mean, actually it's responsibility of seniors to inspire congregation to come for these classes. Because in some good yatras, you can see that grihastas, they come, not only who live here, but also congregation members or some new people, because some people come to temple, we can always invite them. And then these classes become something nice, exchange, that it's getting some meaning, and it's not just because you have to do, it become more meaningful, because it supports all of us to maintain this devotion, pure devotion, because it always happens that we want to create, we want to simplify, deviate, or we sometimes understand in some specific way, and if we share to others, we may understand ourselves that maybe it's not actually everything, maybe it's not proper. Even I myself, I see many times when I explain something, then I can even see this, even if nobody says, but if somebody says something in a response, then it helps to understand, okay, maybe I was not completely right, or maybe there is also different sides of this, and because of this is important. And actually also nice in evening to come together and discuss. Damodar Prasad Prabhu, he said he wanted to make this evening program with devotees, at least start with once in a week. It will be nice actually.
Yes.
But because we can see that, in our temples not so many devotees, and some like in the altar, some in the kitchen, and then only few in the class. And then this association not happen. Even we have every day this possibility to attend the classes, but many of us engaged in different services. Few maybe not, but many engaged in altar and cooking. And then we don't have this association. Then we just with our own doing different services. And therefore it is important.
Prasadam.
Yeah,
3
but
times a day there's chance to
do you think this association?
Yeah, that's the point. We don't even associate.
Maybe we should try
This
that.
time.
We can associate on prasadam, but it's usually a different association. It's just about some different
Well, the
affairs.
class usually is a speaker speaking. It's not during prasadam you can exchange.
Can be,
More.
but if you was in the class, if you discuss this topic from the class, But actually, a class not necessarily only speaking, because if you look what's Prabhupada advised, I'll just open. There is, if you just put on Google how to read Prabhupada books, there's very nice compilation of quotes from Wikipedia, and it's a really nice table with different quotations. And there is, for example, again and again you have to read. There is 60 different ways to study. Again and again, as much as possible, read Prabhupada books. At least 1 hour daily, constantly, continuously, and then in association with devotees, by discussing amongst the devotees, with the cooperation of your good brothers and sisters, with the help of your senior good brothers and sisters, minutely, scientifically, scrutinizingly, step by step, thoroughly, from different angles. Yeah, it means Prabhupada wanted that we, if you even open this and read, there are different letters and instructions from Srila Prabhupada and lectures, and Prabhupada said that we have to understand from different angles and discuss. And actually Srila Bhagavatam, if you do properly, it should be that, lector like giving a class and reading and giving some points, he preparing also, maybe finding some information about this topic, and then we all discuss different points from this class. Actually, it should be done like this because, like we can live together and do different things, but because we don't discuss, we can even maybe already not following many things. We may understand and solve it many different ways, instructions of Srila Prabhupada. And when our Shmabhagan classes becomes just, formality, then, we cannot then establish true devotion. But by discussing properly, practicing and looking on this through different angles, we can understand what should we do, what shouldn't we do, and this is important. In this way we can make a progress and actually practice, we can practice, for example, like take just japa. We can read chant japa, but we can chant differently. Sometimes we chant attentively, sometimes not, sometimes we're sleepy, sometimes japa can become this, for some devotees can be just a time when you trying to rest because you might be in the evening you eat something and then you didn't rest enough, and then japa is time to rest. You just chanting, but this is, it's just, for example, one aspect of the practice. But when we take this, discuss, and if we're not indifferent, if you just actively engage in this, then we can see how should we chant, how we shouldn't chant, what is good, what is not. Is it good if you sleep, if you're sitting and you're starting to sleep? Is it good to continue to sit, or maybe better to walk? Or if you chant without pronouncing, is it proper? What's Prabhupada said about this? And when we discuss in such a way one topic of devotion, then we can improve. What do you think about this? Any opinions, objections, comments?
During prashadam, discuss this.
No, it's not time to discuss.
Oh, okay.
Yes, okay. And it's everything, like sometimes we can make our practice, but if we don't bring it to attention, don't make it proper, then it becomes just, gradually it can become like a custom, not like a practice. And then different aspects, it can be everything what we do during a life. How much we rest during a day, how we engage in service, how we study, how we teach others, whatever. And if you do this in a nice way, like Prabhupada recommended, then it will be, we should be happy and enthusiastic, because if you follow Acharya, if you caring properly bhakti, then it's give nice results. If not, then we just can discuss and find what we can improve, what should we do. Okay, and you can discuss.
I remember Sachinandana Swami made a very interesting point last time he came here. He said that relationships are like, it's like a business deal actually, like a business relationship is the same. You have to first invest in the relationship, and then you can take something. And taking it means, he explained, taking means to give some advice or some inspiration to the person, or some advice or some instruction is actually a taking transaction. And giving is when you give some inspiration or you give some compliment or something. So in any, if we want to give this inspiration, then somehow we have to encourage the devotees and give them something, and then we can give some advice. That's it.
I can relate, but I was thinking exactly the same point, that how do we inspire devotees to practice properly?
We can just, I would like to have discussion, not just me speaking. I just quoted now that Srila Prabhupada said that we should study his books and make these classes by, discussing together from different angles, scrutinizing the understand, and because it's helped to us, all of us, to see from different perspectives these different points of devotion.
Yeah, it's wow. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Still here, you can hear me.
You can speak.
My arm is too short. Yeah, you're sitting 1 meter away from me. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it's okay.
I was just, I came just now, but I heard you speaking about how we improperly practice and how we can properly practice, and how to move from improper to proper practice. And then Sundar Jagannath Prabhu made this comment that if a devotee wants to make someone practice proper, he was making the point that it's based on relationship, and he's quoting Satyananda Maharaj, who says, there has to be an investment. And I was just, while he was speaking, I was thinking the same thing, that how can a devotee become empowered to inspire others to practice properly? Like Prabhupada was so powerful, he could inspire many to start Krishna consciousness, and then many of them, they would also, due to lack of association, maybe their practice would maybe decline to some extent. But then he was very expert in again and again uplifting souls, and that's maybe a good question to ask. How can a devotee be empowered to become a role model and an inspiration to others to practice properly?
Thank you for your comments. It's nice to hear. Yamuna?
Yeah, I think how is actually very easy by showing themselves how to do. And Srila Prabhupada often makes the point that preaching is actually very easy. Just show how happy you are in Krishna consciousness. And as you mentioned, actually we cannot become happy when we practice improperly, if we are doing these things as a ritual without substance. So we really have to go deep, and then actually the nectar is coming. And of course the Acharya is someone who is inspiring others to live in a certain way, and Acharya means he is actually doing what he is saying. So we can first, of course, invest in ourselves, and then in the relationships. Sometimes Keshav Maharaj also says, people don't care what you know unless they know that you care. And this relates to the point of relationships also. And I think also the point that you make, that we should come together more and discuss more also in the evening, I find a very beautiful idea actually. Yes. And also this point comes again and again, but to take prasadam together, I see in myself, like, last days I'm doing very bad in this point, and yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, good points. About prasadam, I would say that if we have a good discussion in the Bhagavatam, and even if we would have in a Bhagavad Gita discussion in the evening, it will be, I think, even enough if you even don't able to come sometimes for prasadam. Because if you really interact nicely on these places, because during prasad usually this discussion will not go so like deep according around the shastra, around the instructions of our gurus, Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, about your comments about importance of the example and how to be empowered. Actually, my also what I was speaking about is that about discussion. It's not about just somebody like say to others how you should do. We just discuss together. It just we live and we read something and we just take instructions because Srila Prabhupada is perfect and we can quote different gurus, Srila Prabhupada, and by discussing this we can take inspiration from him. It's not necessary that I am, because maybe I chant nice, maybe I'm not nice, maybe one day good, maybe another not good, maybe our relationships sometimes is good, sometimes it's not necessarily is perfect, but because we put Srila Prabhupada in the center, we can take inspiration from him, and in this way we see, okay, this is proper, this is like not so nice, and then we can adjust our life and just together come to this. At least everyone can make different steps toward the proper things. I mean, this was, of course, like we all can also inspire others, and this is good. This should be. Prabhupada actually, he said, this is a duty of GBC and leaders, temple president, especially he first of all mentioned GBC, temple president, leaders, because they should practice nicely. There is letters when Prabhupada mentioned. They should, especially when he say about what is it they should do, he say about this standard program, wake up early before 4 o'clock. He said you should all be conscious that everyone, yourself and everyone wake up before 4 o'clock, you attend Mangalarati, you go to Shrimad Bhagavatam class, discuss nicely. You have to understand that other people read the Prabhupada books. And if you do ourselves, then, I mean, like, if you're not just if you're not rascals, I mean, if you don't do something really bad, then others will follow us, isn't it? If we just attend this simple program and say to others, it's nice, Srila Prabhupada gave to us this, we have to follow this, and we also can make comments about how to chant japa, how to, for new people, say you have to take shower in the morning and so on, different aspects. Yeah. Any other comments? Yeah. But if we just can finish, then I go there. I will first say for sure. Always. Yamuna, you wanted to say something? Or Risha? Not bad. It's nicely said. Okay. You can actually keep this microphone in the center of all of you. So can you put in the center of all of you that everyone can have easy access if somebody wants to say something. Jai. So, yes, today we also explain about Jat Bharatam. And it's very nice actually verse about this. It's a very special verse explain about the Kali who was manifested and displayed the fierce with curved teeth, reddish eyes, and he just was so angry because these people wanted to kill a pure devotee. Простите, Гурунича Прабху, у меня на русском сложно будет говорить. Мы думали, что Ирина придет, но она не захотела со мной общаться. Yeah, this very nice verse, it's like explained like she was in such an anger and she decapitated the rocks and thieves with the sword which they wanted to kill Jada Bharatam. And she began to drink the hot blood. Hot blood. That flowed from the necks. It's not for vegans. not for vegetarians as well. Yeah, it is an explanation how the Kali, she have this mood, because if somebody offend a devotee, she want to stop it. And actually, yeah, devotees can sometimes also be, of course, we have to be very careful not to go to an extreme, but to protect the truth, we should be ready even to say some strong words, for example. Maybe nowadays we don't decapitate others, don't punish them, but some like acharyas recommend to us to be ready to protect the truth, because all of them show this example. Because in this material world, always untruths coming and different, things like people trying to explain in different ways, and we have to be able to speak nicely and protect the truth. And actually, this scene reminded me about Jesus Christ. Recently, as I saw the movie, like Jesus Christ, some people made an investigation. They explained about the Jesus Christ when he came to the temple in Jerusalem, and he was very also in these fears. You heard about this? No, there is famous this episode when he stopped the temple. He started to take tables, and just rolled all the money. And he said, "You made instead of having the home of the prayer, because my father God, he made this home of the prayer temple, but you made this temple like a home of the making money actually." This movie explained about they made this temple like a place of the killing the animals, because at that time people, they didn't have slaughterhouses separately. At that time, 2000 years ago, there was all animals mostly was killed in the temples. Yeah, it's interesting, because they was doing this according to the scriptures. Of course it was already deviated, but still they had this faith and understanding as if you want to eat animal, you should make the sacrifice. You cannot just kill them somewhere like nowadays it's going on. And when Jesus came, actually Jerusalem temple, it explained, it was biggest temple in Israel, or how you call this area before, I don't know. Yeah, and it was biggest temple, and there was especially for during festivals, there was so many these animals and killed. And when he came there, he was so much angry, and he just stopped this temple, and he just he was because usually he was very Jesus Christ, he was such a loving person, he was very compassionate. He was preaching about if somebody wanted to punish you, you have to just give your neck, how you call this? Give you a cheek. Yeah, but on this day he was so much angry. And actually, after after 4 days he was crucified. And this investigation, this movie, there is movie, it's called Christ Piracy. There is another also in Russian, similar but different, but there is very, very same conclusions. Yeah, and actually this name of Jesus, they investigated name of Jesus was Jesus from Nazareth, Jesus from Nazareth. And they investigated that the people, actually Nazareth was not place where he lived. Nazareth, it was the people, specific people who was living austere. They didn't shave them, they have the long hairs, beard, and they all was vegetarian. If you look even now, this history of the Nazareth people, they were vegetarian. And this just movie nicely proves that Jesus, he was vegetarian. He didn't want to kill animals. He never killed the animals, he never eat the fish. And this movie nicely asked the question, is here any spiritual way to kill the animal? And during this film, they prove that there is no spiritual way to kill the animal. You cannot properly kill the animal. All this is actually such a hypocrisy how they do this. Sometimes they even, in some religions, they make movies. I mean, some like short advertisements that, you can see, we like Muslims, there is, these animals, they just, they don't feel anything, that some person come, whisper some name of Allah, and then just fast throw the... But actually, if you go to the slaughterhouse, these animals stay in the row and they smell this, they feel they hear the noise, how others dies. I will not go much into this, but I mean, like, this is the hypocrisy. They don't do this properly, and because of this, the sane people, when they see this, they become angry, because this anger is spiritual. Like this Kali, he was so angry that she decapitated these rocks and started to drink the blood. Yamuna, you want to add something? Okay. Yes.
Yeah, but reading the verse, already the first sentence, it says intolerant of the offenses committed, the infuriated goddess Kali flashed her eyes and so on. And the purport also, it's said, yeah, it is goddess Kali's work to kill and punish the demons. And I think this verse is much about protection of devotees. And I was thinking maybe we can elaborate on the fact that actually a devotee is never defending himself, like Jadabharata wasn't defending himself, he didn't even started to speak. And we should also practice this humility that a devotee, he can be cursed, he can be offended, or even, in this case, try to be killed, but actually a devotee is never defending himself. And here the verse is very beautifully shows how Kali, who is a devotee of Krishna, is protecting the other devotee, and she becomes so furious and she's killing everyone, and she actually takes joy in the suffering of the people who offended the devotees of the Lord. So what in my case, I don't see myself so much in protecting other devotees, so maybe we should discuss on this, that how we should actually behave and how to really protect the devotees in that sense.
Joy, very good points. It's very nice. Yeah, this verse explains about this, and this is a nice topic, because actually, as you nicely reminded, that devotees, they humble by nature. They, Jadabharata, he was depending from the God's will. He knew that, God do whatever whatever happened to him is this come from the God. And also, it's reminded to me, I recently read the story of the Chitraketu Maharaj. He was cursed by Parvati, and there was Shiva. He's hugging with Parvati, and when he saw this, he laughed. Chitraketu. He was traveling with different women actually in his airplane, and when he saw this, he laughed, and then he started to say, "Oh, how you can do this? You are Shiva, you're most renounced. What example do you show?" And then Parvati was so angry, and then she was actually cursed him. But then all this also explains that how he took it very nicely. He just he didn't say anything, and he didn't protect himself or something. He just bowed down before her, accepted this like a mercy, because he said, in this world, happiness or distress, they're coming and going. And actually, in this also there is this famous verse which says, Narayana para sarve, how do you call this? The devotees never fear. Narayana para sarve nakutashana bibeti, svarga pavargo narakesh, apitulyartha darshinaha. This verse is from there, and he says that devotees, they never fear anything. Narayana para sarve nakutashana bibeti, they don't have a fear. And they, svarga pavarga narakesh, they can be happy in hell, in heaven, or wherever. This good moment that devotees themselves, they're so nice, because they always depend from Krishna, and it's also a reminder to me that whatever happened to us, that we can try to be humble, because sometimes we try to think, oh, this not they not treat me properly. They maybe, but sometimes it's difficult, yeah. And like in previous verses, it was said about Jada Bharata that his brothers and sisters, after his father died, they was feeding him with some, spoiled food, with some, different, like like just the rice from the bottom of the pot. But he accepted this without any grudge, without any grudge. Yeah, it's like such example, If I go to breakfast and somebody give me what I don't want, I'm maybe not so happy, I will say. Or I come and there is bread is finished. I say, why you cook some less bread? But Jada Bharata, he said, he just made this example that, I accept. Of course, sometimes we can make like a service, but still we should be honest inside. Like, do I accept? Or I'm just arrogant, I'm just, I want you respect me properly. And devotees show to us, and actually all these Bhagavatam stories, they remind to us about nice behavior. And from other side, we should see that we should be attentive, that we can see if somebody treat improperly devotees, if they say something bad to them or don't show them respect, then we have to be able to protect them, because devotees can be humble, but we should be able to say that, okay, it's not proper, you should, it's a Vaishnava etiquette, what we discussed before. It's like very important, because especially for leaders, because leaders, they responsible for a good atmosphere, that, everyone doing this, have this mood of service, mood of respect. By example, we show this, and by also sometimes to correcting others. But also should be nicely done, that if somebody do improper, we just come together, maybe secluded, because sometimes even if you correct others publicly, they can take this like not nice, and then relationships will be like there will be some tension in relationships. But if we do this according to the etiquette, we just come and with respect to this person, we say, I just felt that it was not proper. You have to, have a different mood, because this will be better for the atmosphere of the temple, that we will respect others and we feel that we support others, not just criticize if somebody did something wrong. Yeah, what do you think about this? Any comments, opinions, objections? We can discuss maybe some realizations also about how to apply this. These 2 points, that devotees is a humble, and another that we need to protect devotees.
Devotee Mataji, he gives this seminar about the false ego. False ego, our friend or something.
And he has a book about this.
So she says that this we in our society we try to avoid or we talk about there's these 4 animal propensities: eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And the defending part we don't talk about so much. And the defending part is actually this is now what I have been thinking about. Defending means to put yourself in a better position, either physically or mentally or socially or spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
So spiritually we should always defend our spiritual position, but socially, like our social image and our physical well-being, we may not, we may just accept because we are interested in the spiritual aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so that's just the analytical.
But you mean that by this defending, is it about ourselves or to care about others? That we have to give them?
So there was one devotee in one temple where I've been, but many years ago.
Yeah.
He was accused of stealing money. So money disappeared, and they said, hey, it was him.
Yeah.
And he didn't. He just said, okay. He didn't object because the devotees already made their conclusion that it was him. So he thought, well, I'm not going to argue. But if somebody asks, was it you? Then you say no. But if somebody, no, it was you. Okay, then. So then he just didn't retaliate, and then devotees asked him to leave the temple. So he packed his bag and he started to walk out, and then somebody came and said, sorry, we figured out it was somebody else. And then they asked him, why did you not say anything? Why did you not argue? And he said, well, Prabhupada said defending is animal propensity. So, it doesn't apply in all cases. Like, it doesn't mean that we just accept all the blame.
Yeah.
But if we can say that no, it was not me. But if somebody insists that to give you the blame, then just accept it.
Yeah. But actually, I think
it's like that.
It should be also responsibility of the devotees who maybe lives there, that they also will be conscious, as they can maybe, if devotees can even come to him and speak to him, because it's a difficult situation and they can just come to him and speak.
Yes.
If you don't answer that him, he didn't object this, but they can come to him and openly speak. Is it true, or how you feel about this and
exactly,
this?
Yes.
And if they don't do this, then that means we don't have relationships, or
yes.
we just totally okay. Somebody said. Sometimes it's become like authorities said, and then others don't object. It's also, it can be nice because authorities, they have positions and they should also be conscious how they're doing. But sometimes, there can be different situation when somebody misunderstands or whatever. And we shouldn't give up our intelligence or just common sense. We just also have to, with respect to authorities, we don't need to offend them. We just can come to the person or just bring this topic and just discuss together and see. Even just, if not with this person, but discuss with each other, just, okay, there is problem happened, and do you think it's really like this, or maybe he also, it can be not this situation, but another situation. Maybe the person was in a specific, he had to act in such a way because of some circumstances. Maybe don't want to always act like this. Maybe there was a specific situation, he was upset or angry or whatever, and he did something improperly, and should we punish him in such a way, or maybe it's not. Yeah. Okay, something else, please. Yamuna, you should give classes sometime. Maybe Bhagavad Gita class for her will be good in the evening, yeah?
Hare Krishna. So I have a specific question. When, now I'm in a position that is actually very small, and I'm also young, and if I'm seeing that someone is treating someone else in an improper way, is it then my job to go to the authority and tell, or is it better to go to this person and say, or defend the other person in that sense? Because if you're a leader, or it's your nature to actually protect, then you should be like Kali, even kill the others if necessary. But how to understand if we are actually in this position or not, and what to do if we are not in this position of defending others.
No, as I see, if he can answer this question. He have experience.
So the question is, if you see something improper, but it's not really your position to correct, how to deal with it? Yeah, a few thoughts come to my mind, and probably this could be a big discussion, but first we need to probably have a good understanding what means improper, because there's so many different levels of someone acting, speaking improperly, behaving improperly, and some they are very fatal, you say fatal, that you just need to, do something immediately. And some, they are less, meaning they can be tolerated more. And I was just yesterday reading from Prabhupada Lilamrita how in the final years, actually tomorrow I want to speak a little bit about this, 76 Prabhupada was in a position where he gave the whole responsibility of managing ISKCON to GBC because he wanted more time for translating. But still, naturally, many devotees came to Prabhupada constantly with problems. And Prabhupada was not so happy about it. But one thing I noticed, what Prabhupada said is, okay, he said a few times in that section, he replied, okay, this will have to be discussed in the meetings, in the GBC meetings. And he also said that you have to be patient. It will be discussed then. And just in this connection also, that sometimes a problem cannot be solved immediately, but we have to be patient and wait for the right time, place, circumstances. So basically, that maybe what I want to say is that, and I'm including myself, to get a proper understanding how different issues can be distinguished. That an issue is really, you have to do something. Like when the temple building burns, usually you're supposed to ask your authority what to do. But if the temple building burns, you're not going to ask your temple president or the GBC, you just take the deities and run out. So basically to get a proper understanding about this, and then from that everything, how you react in what circumstance will become more clear. But now we're already over time, so does it make sense?
Difficult to wait? Difficult what?
It's difficult to apply because, as you said, you have to learn, and it's not an answer that we can give in this way.
But I mean, if it's not your problem, if you see somebody doing something wrong, why is it difficult for you? No, you said that somebody maybe do something not properly.
Then, like to another person, and then how do you respond to that?
If somebody what?
For example, if someone is coming and telling you that this person did such and such to me, and then what should I do?
Okay, I can say something particular about this. Now you bring up the particular point when somebody misbehaves to another person, and what if somebody comes and says, that person did this and that. Now, I'm just sharing my practical experience. When I took this service as temple president, I realized this happens a lot. Not a lot, but it happens. People come, they complain. And I also, especially when it comes to conflicts with devotees, I had this, initially I thought, that's your responsibility, you have to immediately. But then I realized it could also increase the problem. Because sometimes a person, let's say a person ignores that devotee, and that devotee completely misunderstands and gets upset and comes, and then they tell so many things. So first of all, I think the basic principle here is also to have a clear understanding when does someone make really a mistake, to And then to see, okay, if somebody comes and tells me, you know, I just got a slap in my face in the ashram, then you know you have to do something. It's not, did it really hurt? Or, you know, it wasn't so bad, right? No, then you know that's improper. And it happened, you know, sometimes. But then other things which are more subtle and which probably involve more of kind of a complex ego type of issue, then it needs more sensitivity. So the Jagannath said, the more subtle the problem, the more subtle the solution.
Actually, I also have a comment about this. I mean, I see that it's very important also to deal with problems, especially for leaders, but for any one of us. Because like this is also a good example. If somebody like comes and says that, oh, I cannot deal with this person anymore, or I don't like his attitude or whatever, or we just maybe just see how two devotees interact with each other, we can see there's some tensions and just, you know, do everything formally. They just don't like maybe something from each other, and then they do something formally because they, you know, just have to continue the service. But I feel we should be able, especially seniors, to give them proper space to discuss this thing. Like, for example, like was the case with me and Sergey, and then you ask Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu to come and discuss with us. This was a very good solution, because actually, when we have different tensions in a temple with devotees, then it's like, it's not nice. It's maybe, actually, yeah, because we are devotees, we should respect and serve each other. But when there is some problem, maybe somebody done something improperly or react improperly, and then another look on this and think why he is like behaving such a way. And if it's not solved, then you know I just don't want anymore to continue. To continue in a proper way. This problem we cannot avoid this. It's just even if we don't solve a problem, especially leaders, it's like in the kitchen, for example. If you responsible for a kitchen, for the cooks, for the menu, for the amount of cooking, if you don't do your duty, if you just don't say how much to cook, what to cook, and or you don't organize kitchen properly, you're just neglecting your duty, then people who come there to serve, it will create different problems because so much prasadam and this and that. And same with relationship, especially this is for leaders, and this is more difficult than maintain the kitchen. And the leaders, they actually should be able to do properly. I mean, if there is some tension, then not emphasize this, but make it like bring some senior to them, because when they discuss it together or without some seniors, it can maybe go even worse, like you said. Sometimes it's like, they start to blame each other more and more, and then it becomes worse. But if you bring the seniors and who are able to listen and to see, okay, you say he did this bad or this, like you don't understand why he doing, and he have to explain why he act in such a way, why he didn't do or do something. And then when he explain, he can even give some points about is it really proper or not, because somebody can misunderstand. Just he can think it's improper, but like you said, maybe it's proper. But if some senior say this, and then others can come to the conclusion, okay, maybe it's not very important, or in this situation it was done in such a way by some circumstances, and then it's helped to solve the situation. And when situation solved, the relationship become better. Then you can continue to serve each other, respect each other, serve with enthusiasm. But when more and more these problems comes, from this side, from that side, and leaders doesn't solve them, then you think, what I'm doing in this place? There is no leaders. There is no solutions, I mean, this is postponing, or just like Prabhupada mentioned sometimes about this, even GBC meetings. He said, you're just saying so much, you're planning so much, but where is solutions? Where you don't do something? I mean, we have this tendency. We have this tendency to avoid responsibility. But if we do properly, it can help to make the bhakti flow properly with enthusiasm, with good relationships. Does it make sense? Or
there is a rule that if you're kind of the judge, you always have to hear both sides. And in Mayapur, also in a meeting with ISKCON Law, this point came out. There's some principles, and the principle number one, if you know there is a conflict, the principle is you have to hear both sides always and get a full picture. And of course, again, you need an understanding what's right and wrong. And and what you say, optimally we have more devotees who have capacity to mediate and discuss. Actually, I signed up for a course, ISKCON Resolve, Mediation and Ombuds. And it's really nice. Yesterday they sent a program, like, wow, I'm really looking forward to that course. And hopefully more devotees can become qualified, because it's not easy. It's really not easy to deal with conflicts. And just one thing, sometimes my experience is you cannot deal with all the conflicts due to different reasons. I mean, sometimes I find, and I have a personal experience in my life, that sometimes you just need to understand, to take distance from certain people, to look, what can I change if there is some conflict? Because if two have a problem with each other due to some ego issue, and that's normal, then you cannot expect that senior devotees, authorities, just take so much time to sit down and go through the whole thing. So then you just try to minimize the conflict to a level where things can go on smoothly.
No, I think we have so many senior devotees, and for them it will be a nice seva. I think I don't think that we have too much of this conflicts and this disagreement. But sometimes when something come up, there are so different seniors. But for them it can be good if they create the proper atmosphere to devotees can be able to discuss something. At least it should improve. Maybe if it's like some worst case, when just it's really some personal issues and it's like not easily going well. But even sometime regularly, if not every day, but once in a week, 1 is 2 weeks, and some devotees have some tension, if some seniors with them speak, I believe it will improve. It will improve the situation. And for seniors it also be good seva, because seniors actually, they're supposed to deal with different situations like this. Of course, the seniors, they have more experience, they're more like calm, they're not just influenced by Rajaguna and so on. They can understand, and just by experience, by their love, they can help to just, and devotees then can realize maybe it's really like not a big problem. I can.
But maybe here just a small point. We cannot expect that seniors come and solve our issues and problems, do service and help us if there is not the other side.
If what?
Meaning, I feel that that's correct. Like, there is many seniors around and they could involve themselves more. But it's a two-way road also, that they need to feel that these devotees really submit also. And that starts before the conflict comes.
Submit, what does it mean?
Submit means to surrender in some way, to be under the protection of senior. And that starts before the problems, and you need help and you need someone. The relationship has to be in place there before.
But just like look in practical situation, like this situation with me and Sergey, how it was happened. It just, Sergey has different misunderstanding about myself. Just why no? I should change names. Okay, let it be another. Names. Just Chitraketu and Parvati. like two persons, and I don't know. Like it just some person have some misunderstanding or just view on the person that maybe because personally they cannot discuss this because personally they have some tension. They cannot come together and say, well, like in this day why you like didn't act in such a way, why you said me this or why you put me in this service. They like maybe not ready for these relationships because there's some tension. But when there is a senior and he just with a proper atmosphere that just ask questions and he ask him explain his behavior or his like mind and then ask another person explain his behavior and mind. And then this interaction can happen. And then both sides can understand. They can at least hear each other because otherwise they cannot hear because of ego, like we have this ego. But because the senior, he creating this place to discuss, then you can explain and then they can hear and understand, okay, maybe I didn't take this in consideration that he like put me in this service or didn't come himself because of maybe he has some another service or maybe there was some, I mean like this can be a good, yeah, this is my point. Okay, we should stop now. Time. Bhakti Yoga ki jai. Granta Rashama Bhagavatam ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
This is organized by the ISKCON Resolve, which is a sub-department, I think, of ISKCON Law Department, and it's run by Raj Bihari from Iran. Oh, really? Okay. No, I think his name is Raj Bihari. Is it Western? No, he's another one. He's an info video. No, it's yes.
I read the name and I thought it was
Ja, man hört das oft auch, oder ja, wo ich habe keine Sinn in der Gemeinschaft und keine Guidance. Und ich habe irgendwann einfach so für mich die Einsicht gehabt, wie kann eine Person die gesamte, es gibt schon Tendenzen, die es gehen, aber es ist ja sehr individuell, abhängig von deinem Karma zu einem gewissen Grad und einfach deiner. Und ich habe oft das Gefühl, ich habe Guidance und ich weiß, wo ich hingehen könnte und andere, die sagen, ja, wo sind all die Sinne-Devotees? Es hat etwas damit zu tun, wie ich mich einbringe, wie ich das kultiviere in meinem Leben.
Klar, es gibt solche Orte, die sagen, ja, okay, so ein System von Mentorship und so, aber das ist, ich finde, das ist eher aufzwungen. Für mich auch, es hat so
manchmal
viel
geht das gar nicht gut. Ich habe schon gehört, dass Devotees finden, mein Mentor ist voll durch die Rote.
Wir hatten auch da mal ein mega negatives Erlebnis gehabt, wo Devotees angefangen haben, Mentorship anzubieten. Und auch da ist meine Sichtweise jetzt im Nachhinein. Es gibt auch Mentoren, die selber ein emotionales Bedürfnis haben, zum kontrollieren, zum anderen. Und das kann auch sehr negativ
sein. Und wenn sie nicht richtig
untergraben.
qualifiziert sind, dann ist das nachher nicht ein Problem. Aber wenn man jetzt zum Beispiel auch sagt, ja, okay, wir tun das emphasiert, dass man eben, jeder braucht Führung und es ist wichtig. Und dann muss man aber selber entscheiden, zu wem man geht und wie fest man das dann annimmt. Oder dann ist es so viel natürlich. Also
ja, eigentlich der Punkt, und da gibt es ja auch eine Diskussion, Devotee Care, sollte das ein System oder eine Kultur sein? Oder beides, kann ja auch beides sein. Wahrscheinlich findet man in unseren Schriften halt schon kulturelle Aspekte, wie du kannst selber lernen, Devotee Care in dein Leben bringen, indem du weißt, wie du dich gegenüber einem Senior richtig verhaltest, das Verständnis kultivierst, warum das wichtig ist und so weiter und so fort.
Aber vielleicht ist es schon nötig, dass wenn Kultur überhaupt nicht da ist, dass man ein System entwickelt, das dann Kultur entwickelt sozusagen.
Weißt du, bei Aktivitanten haben sie
Sorry, was?
Ja, wenn Kultur noch nicht da ist oder wenn wir selber überhaupt keine Ahnung haben, wie wir uns verhalten, dann ist es gut, wenn man in ein System hineinkommt. Also es ist ja zum Beispiel auch im Tempel so, dass man in das System hineinkommt, wo alles sozusagen reguliert ist und dann entwickelt man die Eigenschaft.
Ja,
Nein, man selber, aber
ja.
man kann halt einfach nicht andere gehen, also sozusagen den Fehler bei anderen suchen, dass es einem schlecht geht. Also das ist eigentlich nie die Lösung.
Das ist eigentlich nicht das. Was hast du gesagt?
Und bei Aktivitanten haben sie also ein Mentorship-System.
Ja.
Und eben, da gibt es auch Probleme, aber oft geht es auch gut, weil sie ist alles auf dem Papier.
Und wir sind da gerade in einer spirituellen Diskussion,
So,
willst du
ja.
auch mitmachen?
Weißt du, für so Sachen musst du alles aufs Papier schreiben. Du kannst nicht einfach, okay, komm, wir haben eine Diskussion über Mentorship und nachher,
Ich habe eine Frage, hast du...
weißt du, das ist ein Manual für Mentors und für die Mentees auch.
Für beide.
Was ist die Beziehung und was sind die Regeln und so.
Also sag,
Und dann ist es eigentlich relativ klar. So wie sie den Guru Disciple Kurs haben, für die uns gar nicht verstehen.
Also zuerst muss man bringen,
Dort fängt es wahrscheinlich immer an, dass man die Leute aufklärt und erklärt. Ja, und ich glaube auch da, obwohl es negativ rauskommt, teilweise besser wäre, wenn man das wie aus dem Lehrer lernt und optimiert, anstatt dass man alles gerade wieder rausschmeißt.
Genau.
Dass man genau das definiert, okay, was darf der Mentor, was kann der Mentee erwarten und umgekehrt.
Wir haben im Ashram, die Devotees vom Ashram haben Mentors im Ashram gehabt, die Devotees hauptsächlich so. Und was ich dort auch gefunden habe, ist, also Mentor hat dann immer, wenn du ihm ein Anliegen gehabt hast, hat er nachher mit dem Council, Temple Council oder Ashram Council, diskutiert, wie können wir eine Lösung finden für das. Oder der Devotee würde gerne den Seva machen, was können wir da offerieren oder sowas. In dieser Art. das sind immer die spirituelle Autorität und dann die Seelenautorität oder die administrative. Und das ist wahrscheinlich dann halt dort nicht gewesen, oder, wo du gesagt hast, dass die haben dann selber Anweisungen oder Vorschläge gegeben, so,
Also
ohne zu sagen,
das ist-
okay, das müssen wir vielleicht jetzt mit dem
Aber also dort ist es wirklich
das
völlig aus
ist schon mitgekriegt.
Rand und Band gekommen, weil was dort einfach gelaufen ist, weißt du, wenn der Mentor anfängt emotional sich involvieren und wenn man angehaftet wird an die emotionale
Ja.
Bildung und den Austausch, das ist mega problematisch.
Kennst du